Okay, so I thought I'd make this video about using Krita and Stable Diffusion and the render passes in Blender. So basically for like concept art or storyboards or something. So I've got a man here who was done in Make Human, and I've got the Blender importer that gives you the rig. So that's super useful. Think I'll do a separate video. I mean, I'm sure there's other videos online, so I don't. It's not really about that. But anyway, I'm lazy, so I just wanted a person rig that I could position around or whatever. So, and I put a few blocks just for some interest, something like that. So the next thing is to set up the render passes, right? So what we're going to do is we go to this one here. We'll go with use the mist. I wish I can't seem to get the normals to work, but the normals can be used in Stable Diffusion. So we'll just go with the mist depth, crypto mats, objects perhaps. This is a bit of an experiment. I'll go with the objects. I don't think we'll bother the materials. And then we'll also, what else can we go with? Shadows. Not really bothered with anything else. I just want the basic. One thing we do need to do definitely need to do is we need to do the outline. Because we're going to use the outline control net in Stable Diffusion, which is like a sort of filter so it knows what the outlines of things are. So that's super useful. So just trying to remember how to do that. Freestyle, click that on, and then color management. We want that we want to go standard. And then if we go to the let's just try to remember all this stuff. As render pass, so this will do the freestyle as render pass. So now we get the another little crypto mat. And the cool thing is, what is that Krita supports EXR and layered EXR, which is pretty great because it means you can have all these coming into one image. So that's kind of useful. Because then in Krita you can then specify with Stable Diffusion what you want to use the different pieces for, which is kind of useful. So we've got the freestyle. We need to, for the freestyle we need to composite that. If we were to render a frame, so let's just render a frame. It's going to look pretty awful. Ignore the lighting. We're not really concerned about the lighting because we're just going to let the AI do as much work as possible. So that's okay. So we've rendered that. Now if we go, we'd add a viewer node. Okay, and let's just have a look and see what that is and go to background. So backdrop. Okay. Okay, so we need to go over. I might need to make the line a bit thinner actually. So over, alpha over. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the lines over a white background. So RGB, and we stick that in there. Might have to swap them around. I often get this wrong. Switch these around. That should be great. So now we have like a line drawing, which the Stable Diffusion's control net can detect and use as a guide. So let's go fit or something. So we've got that. Great. Next thing we need to do is set the depth on the mist. So if we go to, let's move these out of the way. If we go have a look at what the mist is doing. Okay, that's looking pretty good. But what I find is quite useful is there's actually like a on the camera. There's like if you select the camera and go to display options, I think view display, you can enable mist, and that will show. If I just switch the okay. So that gives you a line representing the start and the end of the mist, which is about right actually. But you can, in the world settings, you can adjust it. I seem to remember mist pass. You can adjust where it starts. You see, shift it along, and you can adjust where it ends. So let's go like that. So that's really useful. There is the depth thing, but I tend to just use mist. But also we need to invert the mist. So put an invert in there. And go right, okay, so that's inverted. So now if we go and make an output, file output, and we'll connect the, so we want the line, And then if we go to options, rather item, file out. Okay, we're going to go layer EXR first of all. We don't need Stable Diffusion seems to only work, although Krita likes EXR much better than Photoshop it seems, or other Adobe products. It doesn't. Stable Diffusion only works in 8-bit, so we don't need the alpha half float, so that's fine. So what we'll do is add another one, and we can actually call what we name them here. I think if it'll let us name them, let us name them. Will be so we can call this lines. That will come in as layers in Krita with the appropriate name, so we know what's what then. So okay, the next one we want this one here is depth. So we go depth. Okay. I mean, there's amazing. I think you can do quite a lot with just with lines and depth. I mean, even just lines. It's amazing how well that works. So maybe before we go too nuts, we can. I mean, there's also, unfortunately, I mean, you can use normals, but you can only use normals in the matcap normals. This one, so which is a bit annoying because it's obviously a different render. I'd like to do everything in cycles, but I can't figure out a way of getting this kind of look just within cycles and all the objects and stuff, right? I mean, I'll just quickly do a render to show you what that looks like. So something like that, right? That's quite useful. In fact, I might just save this as an image. And we'll go YouTube. We'll call that normal. Normal. And we won't have an alpha channel. This is like going outside the EXR. This is just right. So we'll go. Yeah, that's fine. Save that. So we've got that. I'm going to close that. And then what we can do is go back to change the thing back to cycles, and then we'll use this when we'll go render frame 1 to 1. I think 1 to 1, and that'll write up the frame. And then what else? I want to put a path. Put that to YouTube. Accept. Okay. Because it's really about this multi. Because obviously you can keep adding different things that you might want to use. Like an alpha, perhaps, if you wanted to be able to. I mean, the crypto thing. I'm kind of curious to see how that looks. If we just have a quick look at that, does it show it all? I might leave the crypto thing because that would be kind of useful to. Let's just see what happens if I render and see how it does it. Okay. Composite. Okay, let's look at the layer one. And then crypto. Yeah, I'm going to leave the crypto out for now. I mean, you could just have. I think you need to specify with like a picker. I'm a bit unfamiliar with crypto map in Blender, but you can specify it so you could put individual. So we have just the person and just the blocks and just the wall and whatever. But I'm not for now. We'll ignore that for now. But I just thought it was you can use it. So that's everything. So we just got the mist and the outline. Control F12 just to render it out, and that will render out the. I mean, you could put the samples to 0. That will give us the outline and the depth. So now if we go to Krita, now just before, well, I'll load in the image. File open, desktop. So so you've got the EXR. You load that in, and you'll see it's got both the layers there. So that's a great way of just getting all your layers, set it all up as many as you can. Unfortunately, as I say, the normal one doesn't seem to work, so that's a bit irritating. And then if you go open, get the normal, because that was the workbench renderer. Just select it all, copy, paste, and stick it in there. So we've got it in there like that. So under that's normal, right? Great. Okay, so one other thing that's probably quickly worth showing you how to install Stable Diffusion, because it's pretty easy. So obviously go to Krita, download Krita, go to GitHub. This is the Stable Diffusion. I'll put the links in the thing. Go to releases, download this file. Okay. So once you've done that, in Krita, go Tools, Scripts, import Python plugin from file, locate the file that we downloaded from GitHub, install it. Okay, you might have to restart, exit Blender and exit Krita and restart Krita, and then go to Dockers, show Dockers, and enable AI image generator, and that will give you this panel up here, right? And it'll have a big error saying it's not connected or something. So what you need to do is you can actually log into other services with IP address if you've got it's used as comfy UI. But to keep things simple, although the files are quite large, I just go local managed server, right? And then you check I checked everything. It's quite large downloads. It's probably about maybe 40 gig or something if you get everything, which I just downloaded everything. And then you let it go off and download, and then once it's all downloaded, you'll be able to hit start, and it will run. And that's it. It's all running then. So, okay, so that's that done. So let's actually do something. So let's say, I don't know, man. Oops, not all in caps lock. Man in wasteland. Okay, let's just leave it like that. Okay, man in wasteland, right? And we'll start using. We'll give it some of these guides. So we'll give it the depth guide, and to do that, it's like these are sort of the control net layers. So click that, and we change this one here to depth, and we choose depth, which is already chosen, right? And then we add another one, and we'll say line art, right? And we'll choose line, right? So you see how quite easy, and we can do one with the normal as well since we're here. Normal, and I haven't named it properly. It's called background, so we'll call that background, and that's it. Now, being this is quite a large image, I think it'll only give us 2 versions, but you can batch it up. Or we've got it set to 6. Let's put it back to just 1 and see what it does for us. Right, incompatible. It's one thing I forgot to mention. Although, as I say, Krita does support high bit depth EXRs, Stable Diffusion doesn't. So what we need to do is under Properties, image color space, change this to 8-bit and change it, and then that will just flatten everything. There we go. Now give it a go. Generate. And it'll think for a few seconds. So use your GPU. So the better GPU you get, the faster this goes. I've got like a 4090, so it's quite quick, or relatively speaking. But you can use cloud services, I think. But it's there we go. So Man in Wasteland, you can see this is what it gives you a lot more control. Because you can do all the basic layout in 3D. And have accurate lenses and stuff. And we'll just see how well it matches up to the wireframe. Let's switch that off. See, it's pretty good. Obviously that's the basic principle. You can. I know people probably went, "Oh, can you do this animation?" You can. I'll put the link to the guy who's got all that working. But this was just for like sort of concepting where it's like or storyboarding, right? So you let's put Man in City, okay? So that looks like doesn't look much different. Okay. In street maybe, and we'll give it do 3 or something to get different variations. There's a whole load of control nets that I'm not quite sure what they do, and there's 2 one doesn't work. The face one doesn't seem to work, which is a bit annoying. This is not a terribly good example. It just looks like random blocks. I guess if I had little windows or something. Or I could go to the line art and draw some actual do some drawing. Remember that? So let's put some little boxes. So it's got maybe do it with a we'll go with that. that, and let's say that's about 2 pixels. Something like that. Okay, that should be about right. See what it makes to these. So this is the cool thing. It's a sort of like fusion of different. You're using both generative AI. You're using traditional drawing techniques as well, if you want. I mean, my thing is like like most people. I'm not. I mean, I can draw people, but I'm not super fast, right? So it's sort of like it's like, well, you can use it's a sort of hybrid method, a mix of different techniques. I don't. Yeah. Okay. Maybe draw. It's a bit strange that it just sort of stopped here. I guess you could set up the line render better in Blender or something. Okay, maybe I don't know how that one's going, something like that or something. Undo that. And just put a window in there, something like that. See what it makes to these little additions. We would want, and obviously this is why this traditional 2-point perspective was quite useful. Anyway, it's not going to be a perspective drawing lesson. Okay, so let's just go generate and see what happens. I wonder if it doesn't matter that these are hidden. I don't think it does. See if it gives us windows. Oh, but you could say maybe like Oh, it's so amazing. I mean, you could do like a just, I guess, roughly sketching, or you could photo bash, I guess, couldn't you? And you can. The great thing about this is this. It can actually. You can. What a trick that I found that's pretty good is if I go. Let's go to Google Images. Put in back to Krita. Go File, Open. Find that brick wall. Where's that? There it is. Okay, I know it looks a bit terrible, but what you can do here is you can go brick wall or something. I don't even think you need one, but let's go. Because this can actually, not only can it detect your line work, if you go to line art, and we've only got the one layer background, whatever, it can also generate line art. So what you can do is generate line art like this. This is a pretty nifty trick I found, and then we can copy it. Let's say like that. Okay, and I'll go back to the other document with the EXR. Switch these off so we can see what's going on. Or maybe this one here, lines. Put a layer above it, paste it, and then and then it's just regular photo bashing, right? At this point. I don't know, something like that. Can we distort? I can't remember if there's yes, you can. There we go. Corner pin. Okay, super sketchy. I mean, rough and ready. You know, nothing. But I just want to show this pretty nifty technique. So you can convert anything into this sort of line art. I'm going to stick it on multiply. Mode, multiply. Flatten it down. Most of the, yeah, there we go. So now we've got some brick wall. Let's see what the new generation looks like. So hopefully we should have a brick wall or in our generations or whatever. Oh, that's interesting. It didn't quite do what I expected. Oh, have I applied the? It's weird. It's sort of done it. It wasn't quite. Ah, wait a sec. I've deleted the. I don't seem to have the line art. When I merged the layers, it must have got rid of it. Line art. Merged. Right. Okay. Okay. Try again. Hopefully, it should just be stuff on that wall. With a bit of luck. I'm doing it. Yeah. Well, yeah. We sort of started to do it on the other ones, but you can see how this is a pretty cool way of working. It's got a hybrid way of working, where you sort of, it's a bit of AI, it's a bit of 3D,
yeah, so I think for like concepts or storyboards, I mean, the problem with the storyboards is keeping the characters consistent. So what I've done, I'll show this pretty nifty trick. Change it to the anime style. It's like a sort of like a shootout or something. I don't know. Rule the thirds. Try and put the head on the third, right? Something like that. Okay, let's render that. Render over the frame. So control. Okay, just render over that. As I say, we're not using lighting. It is possible to, use the lighting pass and stuff in Control Net as well. Again, I'll link the video to the guy that kind of. I mean, his thing was to do it with animation, but I think even just stills, and I'm just like mucking around in Krita really, and open. Let's go that one again. Got pretty good lines there. Okay, so then we'll just add two control nets. So we have the lines, has advanced options for like how the strength of it. I don't tend to use them. I haven't really used them yet. So anyway, so we go lines, line art, depth, like that. Okay, man in alley or something. And you'll try the anime comic thing. Oops, forgot to do the properties, change it all to 8-bit. Okay. Hopefully this won't look so terrible. Maybe if we saw his face, just it would be better example. Oh, it's doing this. Oh, yeah, but yeah, so it's kind of cool. In that just you can have a little bit more control. I mean, if we had like wrote man in suit or something, man in suit in alley. Yeah, I'm just thinking it might be better to show his face because it does do faces. Yeah, let's do. It means he's got a suit now. And it's sort of, so for consistency, what I've done in the parts is I just like ditch the color, make it black and white, and then might have to lighten the colors up or lighten the shades up or lighten the shades down for like a storyboard sort of thing. One, and then you go filters, adjust hue saturation. There you go. And so then it's easy to match, and because obviously if the colours are constantly changing, but if it's lighter or darker, it's quite easy to make things lighter or darker, right? So yeah. Anyway, that's it. Maybe I'll do one of his face just to show that it's pretty good. So let's get the guy. Turn him around. Get really close to his face. Again, all the thirds. Moving him over here, looking that way. Okay, render over the file. Off to Krita, file open. Let's open the file again. Open, discard. Okay. I think we can just use the lines. Let's just use just the lines. Okay, lines. It's set to scribble, but we need line art. Old man. In city. Oops, I'm going to do the thing again. Properties. 8-bit. Okay. Well, it wasn't quite what I was expecting, but I guess he just does it. Well, with if we put the depth in, I'm wondering if it will know that that's not, a whole
sort of vista going off into the background there. Okay, let's add the depth. See if it can, if that helps. Depth, depth, depth. Right. Okay. Oh. Okay. Wasn't quite what I was expecting. Oh, that's a bit more like it, I guess. Yeah, so it's kind of fun. I mean, yeah, it's sort of. I think there is a way you can use reference images, so of likenesses and stuff, but I'm not going to go down that route just yet. But yeah, I just thought it's really just to show that sort of how you have all all these different things. I don't know the pose thing. I know if you've got like a open pose rig character, which is this like skeleton, so you can do that in Blender, and that would use that as a guide. The canny, soft edge, line out, scribble, they're all sort of variations of line detection, as far as I understand it. Some are more suited to buildings, and some are suited more to sort of organic shapes. Is what and the face thing is like a face swap thing that doesn't seem to work, unfortunately. I mean, people have got it to work, but I can't seem to get it to work. It might be a Python thing. I'm getting a dependency, DLL dependency problem, so it might be I haven't. It's not, the dependencies aren't built properly for it. These three I'm still a little bit unsure about, but even just using on segmentation, that's quite interesting. Let me just show you what segmentation does, because let's segmentate an image, and then you'll see how you could use it. So if we click segmentation, and then we generate segmentation, you can see what it's looking for. Oops. Oh, I have not got I don't think I've got it installed or something. Okay, well let's not do that. But okay, I'll just stop the video there because it's rather than. But it's as I say, it's really just the line art, the depth. You can use the normal, and but yeah, so you have some control over the generation, because it's like there's no real granular control other than the prompt in like Midjourney on all the other ones, is there? Right? Like this, you can actually have a specific camera lens and put a person in a specific place, or several people, and you can do all that sort of stuff. But it was really just the layered EXR business that I wanted to show. Yeah, you can just set layered EXR and then link it all up in Blender, as I've done in the compositor here. So you can keep adding channels and then save it just as the one file, and then import that into Krita, and then make sure it's 8-bit, and then you can apply different control nets to your generation. Okay, that's it.